The first step to creating an interactive video on Mindstamp is to add your video source files. To do that, you can come up here and press New. Once we're on the new video screen, you'll see a number of options. You can upload your video content directly to Mindstamp, and we'll transform it into an adaptive stream that works great across all devices. But for your convenience, we also let you use third-party video content within the Mindstamp interactive video player. If you have video content hosted on Vimeo already, you can copy the video file links into this box to import it. You can also grab content from Wistia, Synthesia, Panopto, Kaltura, or even links to video files hosted on your own servers. For your convenience, we also offer stock footage from Pexels and Pixabay, as well as a YouTube integration for testing only. Let's go ahead and use a sample video. Once you've added a video, you'll end up here in the Mindstamp editor. Let's take a look. Over on the left side, you'll see a number of different menu items corresponding to each part of the editor. The default tab that you're looking at right now is the Interactions tab. This is where you'll see the video, the interaction bar where you can add interactions, as well as a list of interactions that will start showing up as you add them. Next up, we have Design. The Design tab is where you'll control everything related to the look and feel of your videos on Mindstamp, including color, font, branding, player controls, and more. Next up, we have Lead Capture. Mindstamp offers the ability to capture lead information from your viewers, such as name, email, or phone. You can configure how you want that captured and when on this screen. Next up is the Magic Menu. Magic Menu is an in-video menu that you can create on Mindstamp to give your viewers an ever-accessible set of links, images, or resources. You configure your Magic Menu on this tab. Next is End Screen. The end screen shows up when the video ends. So you can show a button to click off to the website, you could automatically switch to a new video, or design your own custom interactions to show at the very end. Next up is Settings. Settings is where you're going to control some of the settings on your video, such as title, share message, privacy and participation settings, organization access, and a few more. The Transcript tab holds the transcript of the video. Mindstamp automatically transcribes the video content into a searchable, clickable list like this. Viewers can come in, search, and then click to skip to that section. The Chapters tab lets you add chapters to the video so your viewers can see what content is showing and navigate quickly. It's very easy to add a chapter. All you do is say New Chapter. Mindstamp supports closed captions on your videos. When we transcribe your video, we automatically create an English closed caption, but you can also upload more captions in VTT format from any of the languages below. Once you've added, you can choose to set default captions to off or any of the languages that you've added. The Analytics screen is going to show you a high-level overview of your video content and how it's performing. You're going to see things like views, interactions, viewers, streaming, retention, and more. If you want to drill into the nitty-gritty and see individual view reports, you can head up here to Open Full Reporting. Next up is Paywall. Mindstamp offers a paywall feature that allows you to connect your Stripe account and charge money for viewers to access your content. In the Paywall section, you can choose when you should capture the payment, as well as price and currency. In the integration section, you'll find connections to all of your favorite applications like Zapier, Google Analytics, HubSpot, Shopify, and more. You can connect these applications together to use your Mindstamp data in real time to send data back and forth, automate marketing, and more. The preview section lets you see exactly how your video will appear to external viewers. When you're editing the video, certain things will be a little bit different, so it's good to use the preview section to see exactly what they will see. You can preview your video both in desktop and mobile. When you're ready to share, you can press the Share tab. You can also share from up here. On the share screen, you'll see two big buttons. You can copy a link to send out your video, or you can copy an embed code to embed it in your store, website, or blog. You'll see a little preview of how your video will look on social networks. You can create a personalized link to send out, or download a SCORM package. We support both SCORM 1.2 and 2004. And finally, we have a couple of easy quick share options here, including QR code. The Genie AI tab deals with Genie AI, our artificial intelligence assistant that lives within your video and can answer questions about it based on the content. In this section, you'd see all the different questions coming in from your viewers as well as the AI's response. For questions that don't have an answer that isn't contained in the transcript, you can add additional information in here to juice their responses. Finally, we have the More tab. More tab has some utility functions like duplicating a video to create a second copy of it. You can replace the underlying source video file if you need to make an edit. You can visualize your branching experience. You can set default variables, create a backup, unpublish a video, import interactions from other videos, or clear out all activity. Let's add our first interactions. Back on the Interactions tab, we can go ahead and press Play Video. As the video is playing, you'll see the seek bar move along, and we can press any of the interaction buttons to add an interaction at the time of our choosing. Let's go ahead and add a button. When I click button, we'll get a draggable button that I can place anywhere in the screen. I can resize it. And then over here on the left side, we'll see a pretty common interface for all interactions. All interactions are going to have a show time and a hide time. So in this case, this video will show on screen at 3 seconds and it'll hide at 8 seconds. I'm going to add a label to it that says visit website. We can edit the font size. We could edit in HTML if we want to, but now we're going to set the click action. So click actions on Mindstamp are what happens when you click an interactive element. By default, we can say track and continue. It's just going to track the click and it's not going to do anything. But we can open a link, such as to your website, to a contact page, anywhere you'd like. We can change time within the current video. We can switch to a new video, also known as video branching. We can switch to a previous video if we've already come from one. We can show a message to give us simple feedback, reinforce learning. We can open an image. It's going to open image nice and full screen, like a document or wireframe or anything like that. You can open Genie AI, like we looked at in the last video, to ask an AI question about the content. If you're using Shopify, you can make this button add to cart. You can ask ChatGPT a question. This is different from Genie in that ChatGPT is not specific to your video, but you can use it. You can play an audio or video clip when they click this button. This is really helpful for step out, kind of learn more experiences where they want to get some more information or a quick clip that's not included in the video content itself. You can start an email or phone call to have people contact you. You can open a link on top of the video so they don't leave the tab. They're just going to get a pop out over the video of the website link. You can collect response. That's a quick little feedback functionality. You can download a file. You can open the magic menu. You can show a card. A card is a different interaction. Or you can make API requests right there in the video. Those are common click actions. Those are going to be shared across buttons, hotspots, images, text, and multiple choice questions. So let's go ahead and say open this link. And we're going to open a link to google.com. There's some more things that we can see down here. We could edit the styling. Right now, this button is taking the base styling that comes from the design tab. But if we want to style it on an individual level, I can come here and say, I want this background to be like that. And I want the border to be black as well. We can set up the transition of how it comes on screen. We can set up an animation. And we can change what happens after I click this button. There you see the animation going on, but after we click it, by default, we're not going to do anything. It's going to be clickable again, but you could hide it if you want. You could disable it if you want, but leave it on screen. And you could also change the colors. So I've got this button. It opens a website to google.com like we've set it up, and I can still drag and change it as I want. We can bump up the font size a little bit. There's a couple easier placement options here as well. If we want to get really nitty gritty, we can just bump it over like that. We can also have a grid that shows for alignment. We can snap to that grid and also do quick placement if I just want it over here or over here. So just like that, I'll go ahead and save it. What we see is our button. It's going to have the animation that we set it to, and it's also building up over here on this list. Next, let's add a hotspot. If I come down here and press hotspot, we'll get a nice little blinking indicator that we can place over an object that's in the video and make it clickable. We come in here, same thing. We're now showing this hotspot from 12.2 seconds to 17.2 seconds. If I wanted this to last for the whole video, I could say set to end and set to start. Hotspot shares the same click actions as buttons. So in this one, let's say show a message when they click. I'm going to say, hey, you clicked the hotspot. We have some hotspot settings as well. So right now we have this blinking indicator, but we don't need that for sure. We can say, I don't want this indicator, and just make that section of video clickable. I'm going to turn it back on for right now. We can also make this into rectangular as well. We can choose an icon to go in here. Say we want to add a question icon to indicate that it's clickable to ask a question. And you can change the indicator position from the left or right side of the box. We can style hotspots as well. Say we want to make this one yellow, and we can set an animation as well. Make that one high there. Same thing, we can also choose a post-click state for the hotspot. It can be hidden, disabled, or change color. We can also make hotspots trackable. If we wanted to follow something on screen, we'll cover that in a later video. But let's go ahead and save our hotspot. When we click our hotspot, it's going to say, hey, you clicked the hotspot. And when we click our button, It's going to say google.com. Next up, let's go ahead and add an image. You can come in here and press the Add Image button. That's going to pull up my library, but you can also search for images on Unsplash, Pixabay, Pexels, Giphy, Icon Finder, or generate an AI image. Let's go ahead and use this cool GIF of Steve Jobs, and I'll place him over here. Same thing, I can resize, move him around as I wish. Same interface as before, show time and hide time. We can add a label to this, and we can also choose the click action. Same click actions that we've seen before. Let's go ahead and make, when they click this image, let's going to say we just open the image. So this will open nice and full screen for us. We have styling and settings as well, just like the other ones, as well as post-click state. So let's go ahead and save this. You can see our interactions are building up here on the left side, keyed by the time that they show up at. When I click this, it's going to open it nice and full screen for us. You can add two little bits of text in Mindstamp. With this add comment box here, I can type in real time and save. That's an example of a simple comment, or you can add more robust text. So just like buttons, images, and hotspot, text is placeable. I can take it here. I can say, welcome. I'm going to make this bigger and place it over here. Show time and hide time again, same interface. And same click actions. By default for text, it's going to be track and continue. But let's go ahead and make this change time so that it changes back to 3 seconds when they click this text. Text pops up. If we click it, we go back to 3 seconds as we set. Next, let's explore the question interaction. Adding questions on Mindstamp will stop and pause the video and ask the viewer for an explicit response. The question types on Mindstamp we have are free response. Let them answer anything in free-form text. Multiple choice, that gives them up to 5 answer options in button form. Choose all that apply, which lets them select up to 5 answers at once. You can ask for a drawing response, that makes them circle something on screen to call attention or highlight it. You can ask for a number response, a date response, video response, and voice response. These two are really popular in the customer service-facing industry, where you might want to hear how somebody's going to react rather than just typing it out or clicking a button. You can ask for an image response where they have to upload an image or take an image. You can ask a rating question where they can give 1 to 5 stars based on your prompt. A drop-down select question, which is what you're seeing here. It would be a multiple choice question with a lot of answers where you want it to be searchable rather than a ton of buttons. You can also ask Likert scale questions or poll questions. Let's go ahead and ask a free response question now. I'm going to say, what city are you from? Enter that in the prompt box. Right now, we can see that this shows up at 106.7. Since questions pause the video, they only have a show time. They don't have a hide time. Some question settings here we can say has a correct answer. We can set a time limit on the question. We can allow skipping on the question. We can read the question and answers out loud for accessibility. We can allow rewinding when this question is shown if you want them to go back and understand more content before answering. You can provide a hint. You can use conditional logic, which we'll explore in a later video, to show or hide it based on a variable. You can map this question to HubSpot to update a custom field, and you can add a custom design to this question itself. Let's go ahead and just leave this as it is for right now. We're going to press save and add another. What save and add another does is create another question set. A question set is going to be a set of questions all at one time without the video pausing and resuming. So after they answer that first question, let's go ahead and give them a multiple choice. I'm going to say, what is 2 plus 2? Each multiple choice answer, let's say 2, 22, and 4. We give them 3 options here. And each one of these options can have its own individual click action. So by default, it's just going to record the answer and continue, as we see here. But if they answer 2, I could say I want to show them a message that says, really? If they answer 22, I could say, let's take them to math.com because they really need to review their math. And 4, if they answer that, let's just show a message that says, great job. Note that any of these click actions that you saw previously can be used in these questions, like opening a link, changing time, switching to a new video, downloading a file, and more. Now we are going to say this does have a correct answer. I'm going to choose it. It's 4. I can make it repeat until it's correct. I can set a time limit on this. Let's say we want that 30 seconds max. If we turn, some of these options don't work with each other, but we can turn this off and allow skipping. We can allow rewind. We can read the question out loud. provide the hint. I'm going to say easy peasy. And just like that, I'll go ahead and save it. So now you're going to see two questions pop up. What city are you from? I'm going to say Melbourne, Florida. And the next question, what is 2 plus 2? Let's view the hint real quick. The hint is easy peasy, so I'm going to say 4. We can see that it says correct. Great job. That's the message that we set it to display. And the video continues now. Under the More button, you'll find even more interactions. If you click this, you'll be able to draw on the video, to circle or highlight something. You can add a card, which is a pre-made layout of images and text and buttons. You can even add video and audio clips that pause the video and play to keep your content up to date or provide more information. Let's go ahead and add a navigation element. Navigation elements are automatic navigation that happens while your video is playing. So we could add a navigation that says at 1 minute and 22 seconds, I want to pause the video. We could redirect them to a website. We could change time within the video to skip them ahead or back, usually used for skipping a section that's upcoming. We could switch to a new video branching. We could set a variable, open the magic menu, show a card on top of the screen, ask ChatGPT a question, or make API requests, read and reset your state. In this case, let's just say I want to change time to skip these 5 seconds. So at 1:22, we're going to go ahead and skip to 1:27. And when that happens, if we go back, we'll see this go, and it skips to 1:27 like we set it to. Let's go ahead and add one more navigation. I'm going to say I want to redirect them. No, I won't do that actually. I'll just go ahead and pause the video for 2 seconds at this time. So when this comes up, video pauses and then resumes just like we set it to. Now that we've added some interactions, let's go back and check out design more in depth. If I come to the design tab, we'll see controls over all the look and feel of the player. The first tab is the player. There are player controls settings here that you can choose, such as hide all player controls if you don't want any of them to show up at all. That'll just be a pause and play video experience. Or you can get more granular, such as hiding the video time, hiding the seek bar, not showing the markers, the interaction markers on the seek bar. You can show fast forward and rewind, as well as speed control if you'd like. The player appearance, right now we have it set to show a looping preview before the video plays. So if I go ahead and refresh this, this is what it looks like. You can see it's moving in the background before they actually play the video. If you didn't want that, then we could just uncheck that box and choose a thumbnail instead. Next, we have colors and font. Right now, my accent color, as you see throughout the application, is blue. But I'm going to go ahead and change this to lighter blue. Let's go ahead and make that red. So if we go back, you'll see the play button is now red and default things to red. We can change our font. So right now we're using a Google font. You've got a big list of about 200 fonts right here. Let's go ahead and change it to that. You can also add a custom font if you wanted to upload your own font files and then select that. You can choose your avatar, which is going to show up next to your typed comments, as well as the icon that's for your brand that shows over the top of the video. If you go to the buttons tab, we'll see simple controls for the video for the default buttons. Right now, the default is white background with black text, but we could say every button that we add that doesn't have a custom design, I want it to have green text and a purple background. Ooh, that looks bad. Let's go ahead and make it white background again and add a border instead with green. You can control the rounding. So if I want this button to be perfectly square, I'd set it to 0. The most we can do is 20. If we come to questions here, you'll see some more controls. So when a question is shown on screen like this, as you saw earlier, it's inheriting these default controls unless you override it. So background, we can say, I want my questions to have a purple background instead. There it goes. We could say, I want the prompt to be a different color than white. Answer colors to be different than white. Correct and incorrect colors when it's showing them. And most importantly, the layout. Right now, you see this is default to half screen, but we could say I actually want this to be full screen. So the questions take up the full width of the screen when they're shown. A couple more settings. We can choose to show or hide correctness once a viewer answers. If you don't want them to know if they got it correct or not, you can uncheck that. You can hide this numbering, this question 1 of 1, and you can enable people to enter their response by pressing the enter key. Transitions as well, where you can make the question come in from the top, like that, or from the side, like that. A couple things you can do here. Comments, like I mentioned, these are the interactions that you're typing and saving on the screen in real time. You can change the colors on this, as well as showing the avatar, change where they're shown, top left, top right, top center, and rounding. Cards, like I mentioned, are pre-made layouts of button text and images. We'll get more into that in a later video, but this is where you control that. Magic menu, like I mentioned, is a static menu that can be shown within the video. So similar to questions, you can choose where you want it to show, the size, as well as the colors. Same thing with end screen. Right now we've got some text, some buttons, and I'd say I actually want this to be purple as well. And that'll change the color just like that. And you can change the transition as well. Language and translations. So Mindstamp offers translations for all the common in-app strings that a viewer might see, such as if they see "buy now," you can set this to be whatever you want. You can translate it to your own language. You can choose one of our pre-existing languages like Spanish, French, Chinese, Turkish. It'll automatically translate all these strings for you. Or you can enable auto translation. Auto translation will recognize the browser language of the viewer and automatically translate the strings to that. A few more things in here under other styling. You can set the default transition. By default, it's zoom. We could say we just want it to fade in instead, or we could have it zoom down. Some crazy stuff we can do in there. We can control some behavior, such as pausing behavior. Do we want the audio to fade? By default, that's on. We can show the seconds for countdown timers. And we can also show things in the video guide. The video guide is what you see over here. Right now, all we have in here is a video transcripts able to be searched. But if you had chapters or interactions, they'd show up here as well. So I can say hotspot, and it's going to search and show me, here's one thing for hotspot where I can click, and that's the part the video is on. That just about does it for design. So let's go ahead and check out